Hi, beautiful souls. Happy Sunday. For a bit, I forgot what day it was. It's the world I've been living in still. So I promised you guys a video on my ayahuasca experience, another one that I've done. And so I'm here to share whatever comes through. I may share different stories and experiences because it keeps expanding even after I've drank the medicine. This is, of course, how it works through us. The medicine of ayahuasca is you start to integrate more and learn and go back to the ceremony and realize what the messages are and have a conversation with someone else and realize, wow, it was another lesson that I didn't realize was coming through. So to give you some history, I drank ayahuasca for the first time back in February, and it was with a women's circle, and I drank 4 different times, and I was having a lot of resistance to the medicine. And so I was hesitant to do it again, I think because of fear. And then, of course, as ayahuasca works with us, whenever it's just presented to us so naturally and it's not planned, that's when you know it's time again to drink, even if there's resistance or fear. And so that's what happened to me. My friend in the place I'm living in, this gorgeous hotel, she has done many ceremonies with the shaman here in Nicaragua. And so we hosted an ayahuasca ceremony here where I'm living. And I think like 12 or 15 people sat 2 nights. And so I did one ceremony, and this is just my personal experience. What I want to preface with ayahuasca, it's an ancient medicine that came from Central America, from indigenous tribes. And it's the what they call grandmother ayahuasca. It's very motherly, feminine medicine. But as moms are and grandmothers, like, grandma can really tell you how it is, right? And so she has the love and the support, and she also has the tough love. And so going back to ayahuasca, it's been drank historically for over 2,000 years, but I believe it's gone much further back than that, this ancient wisdom of medicine. And it has DMT in it, and it comes from a root in a vine that's found in the Amazon. And so ceremony is a beautiful thing. You start at night. Typically, it depends on what tradition. This was Peruvian tradition. Last time I did Colombian tradition. And so how ceremony is held is very different. But typically, ceremonies at night always. There's icaros that are sang during the ceremony, so songs of medicine songs from tradition. And you sit in some type of a circle, typically, and you have a bucket, and you sit for a very long time until the medicine works through you. You may purge, you may not purge, it depends. And so during that ceremony, you're shown whatever you need to learn. You can come in with intention, but sometimes those intentions are quite different than you expect. And I'm sorry, I'm right by the kitchen, so they're blending up smoothies or something. I live with a bunch of wonderful women here at the hotel. And so during the ceremony, I had one drink. And so you have your first drink around like 7 or 8. You sit in silence, they turn off the lights, and then you just sit there and meditate until it might work through you or might not. And then after that 30-minute is done, the 30-minute block, then they open it up, they turn on some of the candles, and then you go up for your second drink if you want. So I went up for my second one. The first one, I didn't feel anything. And so I went up and got my second cup, drank that, went down in meditation, and it slowly started. It was kind of like I started to kind of hear more clearly messages coming through, but I could just feel my body, and I felt very still in the physical realm. Hey everyone for joining. I'm talking about my ayahuasca experience. And then he called after about 30 minutes or an hour, the third drink offering. And I went up and took the third one. And I sat down, and then within 10 minutes, I was gone. I realized in that ceremony that I'd never fully experienced medicine until this time. Every experience is different no matter who you are. Every time you drink the medicine, it will be a different experience for you, which is beautiful because there's always different aspects to learn from the medicine of what she's showing you, where you're at in life, and just so many different factors. And I went in within the intention of self-worth and self-confidence, self-love for myself, himself. And to be shown anything that may be holding me back, and to merge the divine masculine and feminine. I'm trying to remember, I had a couple intentions, but those are the main ones. And she showed me that in very unique ways. It was quite the experience as I was sitting in the medicine was working with me. Like, I had no concept of time, of course, and space. Many times I wasn't in my body, at least I didn't think. And at the very beginning, I could feel my head just getting really, really heavy and intense. Like, there were so many thoughts in here and I could feel them. As I was just observing, I could just feel like my mind expanding with all of these thoughts coming through. And I was just like, oh my gosh, Bekah, like, you should be relaxed right now with all this medicine. But yeah, it just felt so heavy. And she showed me of like just taking that away. And she also showed me how much I have going on in here constantly. Just thinking and this thought and that thought of judgment of myself and questioning and doubt, indecisiveness. It showed me all of the things I could not decide on in my life. Just like, like so many things was showing me all of these thoughts that were just like throwing out there like fireworks. And I was observing how indecisive I've been in my life lately and not letting my heart and my intuition lead me. So that was like one of the first experiences. And then it was like, I started comparing and I looked at other people sitting and they're just like in meditation. And I was just like so uncomfortable. I was just moving and like trying to sit up and I was just like wanting to melt away into the earth. Unfortunately, I found a place to sit where there was a big pillar. And so I literally had to like post up and lean on that. So I didn't like feel like I was melting into the floor. And so I was like holding the tree that was now a pole from the yoga platform and just feeling myself melt into the pole, like my head melted into the pole. And it was quite nice to surrender to that. And really one of the other lessons was I was trying to sit and be doing my inner work because I drank the medicine, I paid for it, and I was like, I'm going to get this work done because this is what ayahuasca is for. I want to come out healed and a new person. And she showed me, she was like, have fun. And as I finally like surrendered into having fun, it doesn't have to be like, I am doing this. It was the best experience. Like, there were times when like the shaman was very funny and fun and he would just giggle or do something. And then through that ceremony, we would all start this laughter chain of like hysterically laughing. And it was fun because it was like I would laugh, just whatever came through, let it out without feeling like I'm getting judged by others around me. And then the next moment I'd start crying, bawling and crying with another thought that would come in. And then I would go into that healing and just cry and have a moment of victimhood. This was a big lesson for me. I realized a lot of the times I was becoming the victim, that others are doing to me pain. Or I don't have the power to do what I really want to do because of XYZ externally. And there was many moments that victimhood was shown very, very clearly to me. One of the times I was playing victim was when one of my friends, Luisma, who is a beautiful medicine man, he was going around with the feather to blow air and also copal, a type of wood found in Mexico, to blow the copal smoke as it's done during ceremony onto me. It's supposed to cleanse the mind, body, and spirit. And he came around and I was really, really deep into the medicine. Like, I didn't know where it was, what was going on. And I was just in my process. And I remember him coming by and he was blowing the smoke, flapping the feather onto me. And a spark hit my heart, my chest, like right here, my heart chakra. And I started to see the flame build. And in my eyes, I'm like, oh my God. First, my shirt's on fire and my heart is on fire. And I like freaked out, and then he patted it, I patted it, we looked at each other and just started laughing. And he moved on and I just started laughing hysterically. And then crying my eyes out. And I was like, his name's Luisma. Luisma burnt a hole in my heart. And I started crying. And I realized it was this victim mode because, I went through a recent breakup. And I was feeling like the pain of this breakup, like this man deceived me that I loved. And he was that resemblance of this man that hurt me physically in my heart with fire. And so I was crying, and then I was told to grab my journal. I started writing down, Luisma burnt a hole in my heart. And then 2 seconds later, I don't know how long, I wrote, or he lit my heart on fire. And instantly in that moment, perspective shift. I took my power back. I get to choose how I relate to an experience. And who gets to have control over my heart? It's mine. And that was just such a healing moment between the masculine and the feminine, and taking my power back and not allowing myself to be victim. So victimhood was a big one. There's also, going back to the fun and the play, I was thinking that I needed to really do the inner work, ask the questions so she can show me clearly what I'm missing. And another thing that came up was I kept, like, during the songs, the Icaros, I wasn't wanting to do it because I was like, oh, I need to do my inner work and do other things and not just sing and have fun. And I started, every time songs would come on, I started to do light language, and it was just channeling through me. And I just like would feel the energy of a word and like push it out to others, or like start to put it into my chakras. And like the language just kept coming. I'd have a whole song of doing light language, and it'd just come through me, and I'd like play with the energy of the room and like do it for others and do it for myself. And it was really, really beautiful to like trust that like I have those gifts within me to heal myself through my own channeling of language and energy. And then also just to have fun with it. And you have to really trust that I have those gifts in me. It's just I'm blocking it with my mind of self-doubt and fear. Like, am I crazy? Is this made up? And in ceremony, it is not made up. That was just like, it came so natural. I know it was divine. And so that was another really beautiful lesson. The other lesson, kind of going back to like fear of judgment and not doing what I want to do out of fear or feeling victim. Before the ceremony, one of my friends also lives on the beach, and I go on a walk sometimes to the beach, and he's usually hanging out outside, and he's a crystal healer and dancer. And so I like just really felt like anxious before the morning of the ceremony, and so I knew I just needed to go in the water and just go walk on the beach alone before I was going to a women's circle. So I walk over there and I see him, I just say hi, and I just go straight to the water. And on the way back, it was like told to me, my higher self was like, go talk to him. So I talked to him, and he's showing me his crystals that he was charging for the ceremony. And one of them was called a phantom quartz. And this crystal is something that you're able to use to tap into the Akashic library. And so we started talking about the Akashic library and how he once tapped in and saw it, but he didn't, that was the only time. And yeah, I was like, yeah, I really feel called to learning about the Akashic records and how to access it more. And so we had that conversation, and then he did a beautiful oracle reading for me. And then I went on my way. And then he comes back to our place with all of our friends hanging out, and he's like, so I got a strong message from the crystal that she wants to spend time with you, like the next couple of days. And this crystal is like this big, and it's like $400. And he's like, I've never ever given my crystal to anyone before, but she's asking to be with you for at least a couple of days. And I was like, wow, like that's really, really special. And so he brought the crystal into the ceremony. And when I was on the medicine, at least 4 times, so clearly, the crystal spoke to me, and it said, come grab me. You can access the Akashic right now with ease. And I doubted myself. I was waiting for the crystal to come to me. Even though I knew exactly what I desired and I needed to do, I was afraid. The thoughts of judgment, because it's dark, and he was on the other side of the circle, and I was afraid to get up because I couldn't feel my legs. I could have crawled. Does that matter how I look? Because everyone else is tripping out. But in my mind, I was like, I don't want to be crawling over there and then someone thinking that, oh, she's grabbing Cyrus's crystal, like she's taking his crystal. No one was going to think that, but those thoughts came up. And so I disempowered myself and held back from the one thing that was so clear that I needed to connect with. So all throughout the ceremony, I'd come up and I'm like, I need to get the crystal. I need to get the crystal. And then I'd see him and I'm like, oh, I just need to ask. But then I would just like go into another process or like be too afraid to get up and disrupt his ceremony. And that message was so loud. And by the end of the ceremony, I never got to the crystal. And I talked to him and he said, yeah, I brought 3 crystals and that was the one crystal I never touched the whole ceremony. I had no connection to it. And he's like, I also thought at one point, maybe I should go drop off the crystal to Bekah. These are the messages that are like so minuscule that make such a big impact, because it's these old stories and beliefs and fears that I'm living by and operating by that are not serving me. Like, what would be the possibility of connecting the Akashic record? I could access anything and anything that I desire and download that into my mind, my body, and my spirit. And yet I was afraid of something that did not happen, that was not even risking life or death, but it felt that way. So it's just really silly, the things that we all tell ourselves. And on ayahuasca, it's the simple messages that we learn. It could be one sentence that may change the perspective of your life forever. And that's the beauty. It's those little moments that are highlighting and really shedding light on the things that are holding us back. So those are just some of my stories. There's much more. There's a lot with masculine and feminine that happened as well. It was just so beautiful. But that's like the main gist of my experience. And Elena, I'm glad you said that cleansing at the beach and is cleaning the Akashic records. That's really cool. I haven't heard that or seen it that way. So yeah, if you have any other questions, I mean, there's so much more within the medicine that I would love to share. Message me. Also, right now, I am working with my friend who is the co-founder of a beautiful group called Momentum Collective, and they do circus and art in order to expand consciousness and awareness. And they've done many different retreats and what they call residencies for longer term, and all over the world. And so right now I'm living with her and we're talking about co-creating a retreat or an immersion, and it's going to be plant medicine included and combo preparation for ayahuasca. So that's medicine from the frog, also the Amazon, and also a space for creation, for art, for digital nomads, and to really live freely and anchor in the new earth together and individually, sharing our gifts and healing ourselves and healing the collective. So yeah, I invite any of you that really feel the calling to Central America, to medicine, to really being surrounded and supported by like-minded souls who are all on the same mission, that know the new earth is being anchored in, and to get out of places where you have so many rules and restrictions, and just really to be full to express yourself. Yes, it's for digital nomads, but it's also for those who are just really looking to have a new place to live outside of the matrix. There's different options. You can stay for like a 1 week of medicine intensive. We also are looking at doing packages for like a month or even long-term stay. So that way, if you are looking to leave the country you lived in, just like I did, it's easy. Like, it's not that scary. Earth is your home, remember that. Then we can also accommodate that as well. So that way you have support. So that way when you transition, you have everyone and everything you need. So yeah, Elena, I'd love for you to be out here. There's many mermaids I'm hanging out with here that are just such divine beings. And yeah, if you're interested, message me and I will put you on the list to then communicate more information to as we finalize the proposals or more of the different packages we're going to offer. But I can tell you it's going to be an epic space, very healing, very activating, inspiring, cleansing, and enlightening. So yeah, any and all questions are welcome. Thank you for listening today, guys. Lots of love to you.